Black History Month, Sojourner Truth by Ayu.
And Jed.
Who is Sojourner Truth? She was a former slave who became an outspoken advocate for civil and women's rights. Her work earned an invitation to meet Abraham Lincoln. In 1797, Truth was born a slave in New York. The hard conditions that she faced led for her to run away to a nearby abolitionist family. Later on, she participated in religious revivals and became a charismatic speaker. Achievements of Sojourner Truth. So, firstly, she successfully recruited several African American soldiers to fight during the Civil War. She was able to work in Washington, D.C. for the National Freedmen's Relief Association. She set up rallies for black refugees in need. Lastly, she delivered one of the most famous women's rights speeches called Ain't I a Woman?
Truth's early years. Truth was born a slave in 1797 in Ulster County, New York. Her birth name was actually Isabella Baumfree. She was bought and sold 4 times and had 5 children with another slave. In In 1827, a year before New York's anti-slave law went into effect, she escaped to a home owned by the Van Wagners, who subsequently helped her sue for the return of her illegally bought son, Peter. In 28, she went back to New York to work for a local minister. In the 30s, she became a very charismatic speaker. As a devout Christian, in 43, she claimed that God had called on her to preach the truth, so she then changed her name to Sojourner Truth. As a traveler, she met abolitionist William Lloyd Garrison and legendary statesman Frederick Douglass, who both convinced her to start speaking out against slavery. Later on, she also met women's rights activists Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, who convinced her to also start advocating for women's rights. She then split paths with Frederick Douglass when he said that the right to vote should be issued to black men first, then black women. Truth believed that both should be done at the same time. Truth's final years. Truth finally settled down in Battle Creek, Michigan with 3 of her daughters. However, she continued to speak, and during the Civil War, she urged young men to join the Union military and even sent supplies to black soldiers. After the war, she was invited to Washington, D.C. to be part of the Freedmen's Bureau, a department dedicated to helping former slaves find jobs. In the late 60s, she collected thousands of signatures for a petition for former slaves to receive land grants. However, this never got through Congress. In 1883, at the age of 86, rapidly losing her sight and hearing, she died in Michigan alongside a more perfect nation that she helped build. Thank you.